Greetings everyone and welcome to another World War Z Aftermath video. Today we're going to discuss the best perks, builds and tips when using the Hellraiser class. So, without any further delay, let's just begin. The first option we have to run either with C4 or the Claymores. The first build I recommend is go with C4. And here Kitty is one of the best perks for crowd control out there. So when you throw the C4, it will attract all the zombies for 5 seconds after being planned out. It does a loud sound, but it can kill 35% less targets. Don't worry about it, we get so many other benefits from the standard perks that they cancel each other out and you can usually kill more than 14 targets. And basically, if you have played Left 4 Dead, this is the same like the pipe bomb, that you throw the pipe bomb and after a while it attracts the zombies. It's basically the same, it's awesome. Alternatively, if you run for Horde mode, you can go with throwing arm, because this way you don't have to do as much crowd control there, and you just want to throw the C4 50% further. And not today is a decent perk, you may become incapacitated one additional time before dying, but I do recommend to go with Hair Kitty. It's very useful, very nice, it attracts the specials, even the bulls, and it can save you in many situations. For the second perk, we have only one option. Since we're going with the C4, we're going with Welcoming Committee. The mortar can now kill 25% more targets for everyone, so this is decent. Otherwise, we have two other options, Green Fingered and Welcome Mat. We will discuss these later when we're going with a Claymore spec. For the other now option, all may seem decent, but in my opinion, Directed Blast is the superior option in most cases. The C4, the Claymores, our heavy weapon that we start, everything does explosive damage, and the damage to the Zik, not to everyone, is doubled. So this is one of the best perks out there. Unshakable is decent. Self-inflicted explosive damage is reduced by 100%. You can do some decent things up to hard difficulty, but when you go to extreme or insane difficulty, Directed Blast will help you a lot more compared to Unshakable. Nibble Thumbs is for the third, let's say, spec when we're going with a shotgun. Otherwise, it's not as good as Directed Blast in most cases. Moving on, we have three decent options. Wheatgrass is the default option, 25% extra health, so better survivability. Bounty Hunter, 25% extra damage only to Special Zik. This is redundant in case you have the Directed Blast, the C4, the Grenade Launcher that will start, you will see later, deals double damage. Especially to lower difficulties, this may not make such a difference unless you want to just be the one to kill the Screamers in longer range or the Lurkers. This can help you a little bit. I don't find any benefit to start with a tier 2 shotgun unless you go with a weekly challenge or some mutators, unless you go with some mutators that will restrict finding any extra weapons, and thus you will get the benefit to just start with a tier 2 shotgun. So Wheatgrass is the first option. In case you get more experience, Bounty Hunter can make some difference on insane and extreme difficulty, but Wheatgrass should be the default choice. Moving on, three decent options once again. Tooled Up can be best later, as we see with the Claymores, especially if you go for solo. Pickpocket, now in case you go with Throwing Arm and you don't plan to kill so many specials, Pickpocket can be an excellent choice, so the C4 can kill more Zik and spawn extra equipment. I'll take that as my recommendation because you will be able to kill specials quite easy using the Hero Kitty and the Thumper. So every 60 seconds, even when outside combat you kill the Lurkers, you will be able to just spawn extra equipment. Once again, three quite decent options. Third Hand is the best option for DPS increase. After killing 50 Zik in rapid succession, will instantly reload your weapon. This is the second class that has this, the other is the Exterminator that has the Third Hand. And pairs great with a light machine gun because it has 125 ammo count, it's the magazine, but the reload speed is very long and you don't have to reload in between, or because this actually has a cooldown, an invisible cooldown, I think 30 seconds, 20 seconds, something like that. So you cannot kill 15 Zik and instantly reload, otherwise this would be completely broken and a default choice under all circumstances. But using the light machine gun, you will just kill a few Zik, you will instantly reload, you can kill a few Zik. If you run low on ammo, you can switch to your Thumper, you can throw a C4, you can use your MGL, kill 15 Zik, and once again, your primary weapon will be reloading. That's why this is the default option. Otherwise, in case you go with a grenade launcher, Free Refill 1 will help you restore 1% extra ammo per kill made with equipment. This will help you because the grenade launcher's downside, we will talk a little later, is the ammo consumption. Free Refill 1, its kill made with equipment restore 1 round in the magazine, not as good as third hand, more consistent because it doesn't have a cooldown, but it requires a lot of equipment. It can be paired good with tooled up and solo missions. However, if you run with a group, third hand is the superior choice. Moving on, 3 okay options. Deep pockets should be the default with this type of build, 35% more ammo for heavy weapons, Hellraiser, especially with directed blast. Many heavy weapons deal explosive damage, the MGL will start, the RPG, the payload rifle, so these 3 are the top choices also for the Hellraiser, and carrying 35% extra ammo for everything makes a difference. Scorched Earth can be decent with the C4 in case you go for Horde mode, but this pairs better if you go with the Claymores. And Hole Pants, it's not the best, but we will use it on the third, let's say, build, that we go with a high risk, high reward, that we don't focus so much on the heavy weapons, but the pocket should be the default choice in case we go with this build. For the next perk, finally we have an option we can just ignore. The Junta is the worst option for the Hellraiser compared to the other 2. You will start with a secondary SMG, which is quite decent, but compared to the tier 3 grenade launcher, it's not. Especially if we pair it with directed blast, this basically deals double damage to everything. So this is quite good, this is a default choice. The only downside are 2 things. It won't start full, it starts with 5 rounds for some reason instead of 6. You have to restock it, and the full refill of the grenade launcher takes a lot of ammo from the ammo box, so don't abuse it as much, especially in insane and extreme difficulty. You can run out of ammo quite easy and you will not be able to restock. That's why this pairs quite good with Free Refill 1 in case you want to use it a lot and want to use the C4 to deal with a normal Zik, so you will restock your primary ammo with Free Refill 1 and you will just restock using the ammo crates for the Thumper. And Heavy Rain is very good option in case you get a little more experience and you don't have to use the Thumper, because this is the best weapon to deal with the specials. 1 C4 and 1 Thumper kills a bull, which is very important even on extreme difficulty, or 2 Thumper shots just kill a bull, which is quite decent and quite fast. But a Heavy Rain can be a better option later, especially if you have a slasher or someone else to help you deal with the specials, because you will start the MGL and it will have 17 rounds. Because of the deep pockets, the default MGL has 8 rounds, with the deep pockets it has 11, and with a Heavy Rain we have 17. So if your team are a little more experienced, they will leave the MGL for you, they deal more damage, they kill more Zik, even thanks to our perks. So Heavy Rain can be a superior option later. However, before you get a little more experience, I do recommend to start with the Thumper. It's an excellent choice to deal even with the random Zik or the specials. Final choice, we have Job Satisfaction, Knock Knock and Predator. So Job Satisfaction should be the default choice for survivability. Killing 15 Zik in rapid succession, you get temporary health boost. This has a cooldown that they don't mention it, around 30 seconds. Knock Knock can be a decent choice to start with a breach in charge, although I don't personally like it to start with it, especially since we have 2 decent choices. And Job Satisfaction will help you survive quite easier. Predator, killing zombie with explosive, boost firearm damage by 50% for 10 seconds. Yeah, this is a little mispronounced. Killing a special zombie with explosives will give you the firearm boost. So this can be quite decent later if you get a little more experience, especially with a Thumper. You will kill a special, a bull for example, and for 10 seconds you deal 50% extra damage with firearms. Otherwise, the default choice should be the Job Satisfaction or increased survivability. So for the second spec, we're going to go with the Claymores and we're going to do some changes. For the first perk, we're changing not today because we're not going to run with the C4 and we have to go with that. And here we have two decent options. The welcome mat, upon triggering, Claymores will attract Zik for 3 seconds before explosion, the same as here Kitty. And Greenfinger, you plant Claymore very fast and there is a 25% chance to plant a Claymore at cost of no equipment, and you start with Claymore. So both options are quite good. In my opinion, welcome mat is the superior option. You will trigger the Claymores. After 3 seconds, it will wait for the Zik to come close by and then they will explode, making things quite interesting and quite powerful. Greenfinger could be better for Horde mode because you will plant so many extra Claymores that you will get more benefit compared to welcome mat, but for the missions, this should be the default option. Now here we will go with tooled up. Since we go with Claymores, starting with 4 Claymores can be much better, especially if you go for solo. However, if you go with a group, Pickpocket can be a better option. You will spawn more Claymores, you can plant them during the attacks, and you can make a huge difference. And of course, Scorched Earth, because we're focusing on the Claymores and we're not focusing on the heavy weapons. So we deal extra damage, we plant the Claymores, and we go like this, with this being the flex slot. Otherwise, everything else should be the same. And for the final build, even if you go with Claymores or if you go with the C4, you can make a couple of choices. Although I do recommend to go with C4, I like the Here Kitty because you can just control where you use the Here Kitty compared to the Claymores. And I would make some changes. So we're going to use the shotguns to take advantage, and Nibble Thumbs or shotgun reload speed increased by 50%, and Hole Punch shotgun range increased by 50%. This is not so necessary, but it will make a difference during swarm attacks. And we're going with Thumper and Predator. You have to be a little more experienced to use this build, especially if you want to go with Predator. This is also a flex slot in case you want to just deal a little more damage, because you can just kill a bull or kill an infector, kill something with the Thumper and the C4. You will get the 50% extra firearm damage because we're focusing on our main DPS source as the shotguns. And you can also start with a shotgun. However, this can be a little tricky because, as you see, we sacrifice so many survivability perks in place of the shotgun, which I don't know I recommend. You can start with Wheatgrass. However, this is the very high risk, high reward. In case you don't find a shotgun, you won't gain any benefit in the mission. It's a low chance to not find a shotgun, so don't worry so much about it. But if you're worried that you're unlucky, you can start with a shotgun. And if you're worried about your survivability because you don't have the Wheatgrass, you can just switch to Job Satisfaction. This will help you, but not as much. This spec actually can be quite overpowered if you have a fixer with a supply bag, which will make your shotgun bullets increase the penetration, increase the damage, increase the range. So you reload faster, you have the third hand, and your main source of DPS basically is your shotgun. That's why with a supply bag you won't have a problem. You can just spam the Thumper and resupply it using the ammo crates, and you will never run out of ammo thanks to the fixer supply bag. So is this better compared to the default spec? In my opinion, it's not, because the directed blast, the Thumper, this is actually makes all the difference. Firing a Thumper and a C4 can kill the bull in extreme. Without this, you have to fire 2 Thumpers and 2 C4s to kill a bull in comparison. That's why it's not the best. Let's move on to some tips when using the class. Be careful of Here Kitty, it attracts the zombies for 5 seconds after being planned out. It has a very small range, let's say. Don't rely so much on it. Be warned and aware of your surroundings. Sometimes it may not work in some Zik, especially if you want to distract a bomber or something else. This may not work if you don't plan it very fast, so be careful when you use it and make sure you attract the Zik you want, such as the bulls, the infectors, the bombers, the boosters, and others. This can also help you to just take a breather. If you get surrounded by Zeke, don't be afraid to throw a here kitty in front of you. This will make the Zeke to stop doing everything and go around the C4, even if you are in melee range, most of them at least, and it will give you just time to run away and then explode it. Be careful how you use it. When you tap the equipment, you will throw it, and when you hold the equipment, you will explode it. So if you want to throw the second C4 while planning the first, just tap the equipment very fast. Don't hold it because it will explode in front of you and deal damage to you, of course. Although you have the Hollywood that you take 30% less damage to yourselves and your teammates, the damage you get in insane and extreme difficulty, it's quite high. Finally, here Kitty can also help to also save your friends from a bull grab or a lurker grab. So if a lurker or a bull grabs one of your friends and you throw the C4, the bull will immediately drop your friend and you can just kill him on melee range by meleeing him from behind or just shooting him with your shotgun or other primary weapon. The Thumper, aka the Grenade Launcher, is the most powerful tool of the Hellraiser in combination with Directed Blast, and although I didn't mention it, you have to go with the default Thumper that deals 100% purely explosive damage. Although the Incendiary Thumper can be better for other classes, the default Thumper is the best for the Hellraiser as it deals double damage to everything, thanks to Directed Blast. MGL is one of the most powerful heavy weapons and the most powerful heavy weapon for the Hellraiser. Because of our perks, it kills more Zeke and it deals more damage to them. So that's why it's the default option. In case you find an MGL, you just take it above everything else, even from the RPG. And especially if you have the heavy rain that deals 50% extra damage and also has 50% more ammo. And the best way to use it is without spamming. Sometimes if you fire too fast, you won't kill as many Zeke, especially if you have a teammate that kills the same pyramid as you, and you will just lose a couple of shots, with losing, let's say, a lot of kills. So you can just control your fire, and don't worry, yes, it can drop the pyramids very easily. Just a couple of shots can even drop the pyramids or make a huge difference on the kills. And in case you don't run with a Thumper later and you run with the MGL, you can use it as well with a combination, especially the Heavy Rain and the Here Kitty, to just kill the bulls with one C4 and one MGL. Take full advantage of Here's Kitty 5 seconds before you explode it. Once you throw the C4, it will fully crowd control the Zeke around it for 5 seconds, but if you explode it prematurely, it will not crowd control them as fast. That's why you can just throw a C4, res a friend, for example, if you want to just use it as that, or throw a C4 if someone is surrounded while he's firing a stationary machine gun. Just be very careful, do not explode it if a friend or yourself is nearby, because you will take a lot of damage. And finally, as I mentioned before, prioritize getting the heavy weapons in this order. First, the MGL is the best option, second is the RPG, and third is the payload rifle. Although the payload rifle is the third one in killing the Zeke, is the first choice to kill the bulls, because it's very fast, it's direct, it deals double damage, and one C4 and one payload rifle to the face, even on insane or extreme difficulty, can one-shot the bulls. That's why it's the best option to kill the specials. And don't be stingy in case you want to kill a screamer far away with using the payload rifle. You can take advantage of the scope it has, because yes, you can just zoom in with using the payload rifle and one-shot the screamer very fast without much problem. There are sometimes pesky screamers in very long range, and if you don't have a very decent weapon, you won't be able to kill them very fast. As far as how to plan the claymores, I have already mentioned this on my exterminator video. I will leave a link in the description. I also have some timestamps in case you are interested in only viewing this section, how to place the claymores, and I will probably make a separate video to just link in the description once again later on what is the optimal way to just plan the claymores and why. Thank you very much for taking the time to watch my video. I really hope this will help you to choose your best build and perks when using the Hellraiser class. So feel free to like if you liked, and you can subscribe to stay tuned for more upcoming videos for World War Z Aftermath and other video games. And as always, I wish you all a wonderful day.